We live? Okay. All right. Just for clarity, can everybody hear me in the back? Fantastic. Okay. Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2018 Candidates Night held by the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce. My name is Paul McIntyre, and I'm proud and honored to be the chair for the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce and your moderator for this evening. As a local Chamber of Commerce, our clear focus for this evening's all candidate night is business. We recognize that all decisions made by council as they relate to land use, planning, bylaws, and so many others all have an impact on business. This impact can affect investors' return, investors' confidence, the future of Niagara-on-the-Lake's economy in many ways. The impact can affect existing businesses, big and small, and their future in Niagara-on-the-Lake. It can affect the jobs market for youth. The impact can affect the overall livability for many within our community. So based on this, and for this evening, the Chamber of Commerce has only one question, which will be addressed by all candidates. If elected, what will you do to support business in the next term of council? I'll come back to repeat that question a couple of times, but after a few housekeeping notes. So some quick oversight on tonight's procedures. Each candidate will come up in turn. I'll state your name, and you can approach. Please enter, all your backs are to me, but that's okay. Please enter on this side of the stage and exit on this side of the stage if that works for everyone. Good? Awesome. Fantastic. The agenda will be followed precisely, and each candidate will have the opportunity to introduce themselves and address the question posed by the Chamber of Commerce. Once again, if elected, how will you support business during the next term of council? Mayoral and regional candidates will have 5 minutes each. Councillor candidates will have 3 minutes each. The speaking order of the candidates will be in alphabetical order with each candidate. 2 candidates which are absent tonight for reasonable means will have their written response read. Please, no campaign material is to be distributed in the meeting room. Campaign literature may be displayed on the tables provided at the back of the meeting. No banners, signs, or displays to be erected. Just some housekeeping things. You've probably heard this before. Most importantly for tonight's evening and flow, and out of respect for everyone attending, respect and consideration must be given to all persons while they're speaking. Distracting behavior such as comments, gestures, excessive noises is not appropriate, but for this crowd, I don't think we're worried about that. Please turn off your cell phone ringers if you have not already done that. I love this part is when everybody starts going like this with their phone to make sure, and we should. It's important. Based on the 5 minutes and 2 minutes, I just want to be clear. I'm not going to tackle you if you go over, but there is a hatch door here that drops into the basement. The timekeeper will be sitting in the front row, and right over here. And at the final minute mark, she will hold up the 1 minute card. At the final 15 seconds of the response, the timekeeper will stand up and remain standing. When the time period is completed, the timekeeper will call time. Please adhere to the time. All right. Also very important for this evening is that all candidates will be able to meet one-on-one with attendees after in this meeting room. Finally, the meeting will be live streamed and available on the Chamber's YouTube channel, Niagara-on-the-Lake Effect, so keep it clean, all right? I would truly like to thank all candidates for participating this evening, and of course, for their commitment to public service. I would also like to wish you all well. So here we go. Let's begin. Based on the question, if elected, how will you support business during the next term of council? To start the evening, may I have mayoral candidate Patrick Dart.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you very much to the Chamber for hosting this tonight for us. These events are really important to get all the facts that you can so you can make a wise decision on October 22nd. It's great to see so many engaged residents, and I know there's a number that aren't here because they're at home with the live stream. Tonight we're here to talk about business. There's really one candidate that makes a difference here between me and the other mayoral candidates. I am the only candidate for mayor who is running a business. In fact, I run 2 successful businesses in town, one in agribusiness, one in sports tourism. I get it. I'm the only one here who can really understand firsthand just how important business is to this community. I only have 5 minutes, but I think it's important that I quickly address a couple of misconceptions that have circulated during this election. We have several candidates here who said that we have no official plan. We do, and we have an updated one that is not quite complete yet. However, the official plan is on schedule, and this is a copy of it. It's been out for about 6 months. The official plan is on schedule to be done in the first half of next year. The other one is the tree bylaw. We don't have a tree bylaw passed yet. Multiple attempts have been made to bring a tree bylaw to council, and it will be done. However, until I see a bylaw which doesn't over-encroach on residents' private property's rights, I can't support it. Even more so, as we've seen by the ash borer problem, we desperately need to plant more trees. I have a proposal on my website. Please go and take a look on how we can do that. So that said, let's talk about what I'm going to do to support business. Well, I'm going to continue to build on the success that we've had so far. Over the past 4 years, I focused my time on building partnerships with global and Canadian businesses. I've invited them to come to town and to look at the great opportunities we have to offer them. No one has seen it yet, but our Economic Development Committee is just about to release a great video inviting those very businesses to visit our town. Businesses like Henry Schein in Glendale are a prime example of the type of business we need. The company has brought good, well-paying jobs to this area. We need more Henry Scheins, and I'm going to go get them. I'm now setting up for the future by looking at creative ways to get more business here. We need to expand our off-season business. We have made a good start with the Shaw's Christmas Carol, which extends the theater season through to Christmas, and Vintage Hotels adding a winter-long skating rink. All this, added to the first-class Ice Wine Festival and Candlelight Stroll, will carry things forward. The town, residents, businesses, and the chamber need to work together to make this happen. Chris Poncion, owner of Silversmith Brewery, said it best, in my opinion. He said he would like a couple of more microbreweries to make this a destination for just that type of business. He doesn't fear competition, he welcomes it. We need open thinking by everyone. We need to expand our offerings so that our residents can appreciate them too. They are a market that is here all the time, and we don't use them as much as we could. If we all work together, row in the same direction, we can make this great for everyone. You're going to hear tonight from all candidates about how important business is to our town. Today I run a unique business which helps our other economic driver, tourism. I opened a hockey tournament business which brings 6,000 new visitors a year to this area. I'm in this with you. Please look at my website. I have clearly talked about the future opportunities. The address is on the back of my brochure. Please add your name to my Facebook page so we can keep current with new ideas for you. If business experience is important to you and a Lord Mayor, then I'm the only candidate you can choose. I'm asking you to re-elect me tonight. 4 years ago, you asked me to grow business, protect public assets, bring you educational options, and drive local initiatives for youth and the elderly. I've done all that. I always say I'm not a politician. That is not completely true. I'm a politician who just talks and does nothing. I do what I say, and I'm going to do, and if you give me 4 more years, I can do even better. Thank you very much.
Mayoral candidate Betty DeZero.
Thank you to the Chamber, and thank you everyone for coming. For me, the next 4 years is about finishing unfinished business. We have to stand united as a community, whether we live in the urban area or the rural area, together, one strong voice to come forward with our vision, keeping our strong points like farming and history in that vision. And as we do that, we will let people know who we are, where we're going, and what the rules are. As we do that, we need to look at creating master plans for transportation, recreation, for irrigation, for culture, and for economic development. I've watched over the last 4 years the Economic Development Committee that was set up. It was represented by 2 people from the public who I know and respect a great deal. But they were surrounded by staff members and politicians. So when they reported out in July what our economic development plan would be, it was a video for $5,000. It had no idea who we were going to target to get those industries in, and it had no concept of what criteria should be used to see if we had returns on our investment. So for me, those 2 people from the public that I know and respect need to have others with them to create a master plan that we can be proud of. We have young, entrepreneurial, successful people in Niagara-on-the-Lake with young families that want to keep them here. And we have people who have had a very successful career that can offer their knowledge and wisdom. We need to put them together and talk about a plan that we can be proud of by selecting those industries, not by going after everybody everywhere, but selecting those industries that we want in our community, and ideas and ways to help those businesses we have currently in Niagara-on-the-Lake succeed and continue to prosper. I've met with many people over the last 4 years, and for me, I've learned a lot from them. And while we create this economic development plan, we need to talk about how we entice those industries in the creative economy, whether it's healthcare-related industries or hospitality industries or technology industries. We need to I've learned from them that we need to target our focus. And what they've been telling me is that there's some short-term remedies that we need to talk about. One of them is, if we're trying to go out there and target industries into our town, we need to look at whether or not we want to defer the development charges. We've done it in this term of council for a select few, but if we're going to do it, it has to be open to everyone and made fairly across the board to everyone, not just a select few. We also need to look at our procurement policies and see, with all things being equal, can we make a preference to buying from suppliers in Niagara-on-the-Lake. We also need to look at a buy local campaign. We have so many new residents in Niagara-on-the-Lake, then they don't know all the services we provide here in Niagara-on-the-Lake. So we need to highlight those people that are here now and help promote them to those residents in Niagara-on-the-Lake. So that way they don't have to shop in St. Catharines or Niagara Falls. We also need to look at streamlining the red tape at Town Hall. Wouldn't it be great if we could go in one evening on a fast-track session and for a simple building permit, get it done and approved that night? Why shouldn't we be able to do that? Other municipalities in this province have fast-track nights. If the application is simple, it gets done. The other thing I think we need to look at is working with our daycare providers. People in Niagara-on-the-Lake, young couples that have children they need to put in daycare because both of them now have to work in order to afford to live here. We should be expanding our daycare facilities and helping them to stay in Niagara-on-the-Lake and have daycare facilities for their children. If you are ready to lead and to lead our future with what we want, I ask for your support on October 22nd. Thank you.
Mayoral candidate Danielle Turner.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event tonight, and thank you all for attending. It shows that you really care about what's at stake in this election, and it's that very same reason why I stand here before you today. My name is Dan Turner. I'm a lifelong resident of Niagara-on-the-Lake. I graduated from Brock University with an honors economics degree in first-class standing, and I taught there as well. I have worked at Statistics Canada as an economic analyst, at Brock University as an economics teacher, at Mercedes-Benz Financial Services as a finance lease facilitator, and at the Niagara Region's Planning Department, where I consulted thousands of businesses across the region. It's my experience with the region that has given me a firm understanding of what our local businesses need from local governments in order to thrive economically. If I am elected Lord Mayor, what will I do to support business during the next term of council? My three top priorities to help businesses in Niagara-on-the-Lake are to attract more families to the town, resolve our traffic and parking concerns, and to develop more service-based businesses. One way to attract more families to Niagara-on-the-Lake in the long term would be to build a world-class aquatic center that would serve the 500,000 residents of the Niagara region. This could be operational in 5 years and would be a major boost for all businesses in Niagara-on-the-Lake. The most successful aquatic centers will be used as the model, those that developed and trained Olympic athletes. Last week at the Queenston All Candidates Night, Betty DeSero said that she thinks that we can't afford to build or operate an indoor pool. Henry Ford had this great saying, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Yesterday, one of my supporters who is heading up this project met with one of the most senior bank executives in Canada to review the preliminary business plan. Not only would this be a great opportunity for the Niagara region, but it could also be a profitable private business for the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake. He was Director of Business Development for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and knows how to tap into many sources of funding. He has significant contacts in business leadership, all levels of government, and the executive experience to make this happen for us. In the last 4 years, Niagara-on-the-Lake has not applied for any funding from the FCM's municipal funding programs, while other municipalities have been given millions, not one request. Even though the town was reminded of this in an email in the fall of 2017, to which Betty even responded. How many opportunities have been lost over the past 4 years? These opportunities were initially raised 5 years ago. We have had absolutely no leadership, and it has cost us. There are many ways we can attract families to Niagara-on-the-Lake. For example, we can host more family-oriented events, such as a Halloween Monster Mash weekend, a Christmas festival in Simcoe Park, and a St. Patrick's Day parade. We can have a weekend where families, with the help of many artists, paint all the electric utility boxes, as has been done in other municipalities all over. They are an eyesore in the prettiest town in Canada. Why has this never been done? We will actively pursue service businesses to be located near the airport so that executives will have quick access to Toronto. We will focus on attracting 3 service businesses or service departments of large businesses with 100 employees or more. These companies and the growth from their employees will be a catalyst to get the schools we need in Niagara-on-the-Lake, among other benefits, and this will mean more business for all of Niagara-on-the-Lake. To resolve our traffic and parking concerns, we must look outside of our town for solutions. Municipalities all over the world have faced the same problems that we have here, and they have solved them. In San Diego, there is an underground parking lot that is a beautiful park at the ground level. In many towns, there have been satellite parking lots with shuttle buses into the tourist districts. This is something that can generate more revenues for the town while also taking many vehicles off of our busy streets. I will ensure that we have our official plan updated to protect our historic districts and our agriculture. They are what attract millions of visitors every year. If we lose our farms and our heritage, we will lose our identity. It has happened elsewhere, and it can happen here. In conclusion, a vote for Dan is a vote for getting back to civil and respectful government and results. We will not have repeats of what happened at our last council meeting. I will put an end to political games that get in the way of economic growth. Remember, on October 22nd, a vote for Dan Turner is a vote for efficiency, accountability, and transparency for our town, Niagara-on-the-Lake. Thank you.
Thank you to our mayoral candidates. One last litmus test in the back. Can we still be heard? Seeing all yes. Regional candidate, Mark Turney.
Good Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Cherney, and I'm running to be your regional councillor for Niagara-on-the-Lake. I'd like to thank the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce for promoting an event that allows candidates the opportunity to address so many residents this evening. The question posed to us tonight by the Chamber is simple, yet incredibly important. It's a question I appreciate because my family raised me on a small business here in town. You may remember it as Cherney's Flowers and Gifts, which is now Regal Florist. Owning a small business is not easy. It's long hours, tireless work, and often times doesn't return a lot of profit when starting up. We worked hard as a family, and with the support of the community, my family was able to build a successful business that created employment for many local residents. I have a 5-point plan which outlines my priorities for Niagara-on-the-Lake and our communities if elected as your regional councillor. I believe that these 5 priorities will all have a positive impact on our local business community and our neighborhoods. I want to ensure we have tax fairness. As a community, we pay a large portion of regional taxes in proportion to our population. We deserve to receive our fair share of regional services that we already pay for. Whether it's infrastructure improvements for our already congested Highway 55, on-time garbage pickup, or fair fee structure for regional police services, these will all benefit our businesses. We must manage increased development with a responsible long-term plan for traffic control in our community. This is a benefit to business and residents alike. I want to give our smaller communities a stronger voice. This means both Niagara-on-the-Lake as a whole and the communities within it. Queenston, St. David's, Glendale, Virgil, and the Old Town all have unique needs, and they need to be spoken loud and clear. We cannot be drowned out by the region. Niagara-on-the-Lake is a premier tourist destination in Niagara because of our businesses. People may come to see the falls, but they're staying in our town. Whether it's our hotels, bed and breakfasts, or touring our wineries, they're staying because of what our business owners are offering. We need a regional council that is providing the infrastructure and support to our local businesses while keeping our friends and neighbors safe. I will speak up for local workers and ensure they're working on local projects. I've spent my adult life advocating for local workers here in Niagara. They do the work properly, safely, and on budget. They also put the money back in our communities and support local businesses. Overspending on regional infrastructure is costing taxpayers money and skilled trades workers good jobs. I want to ensure our farming families have the supports they need to thrive. My grandparents made a living by farming in this community. I had the chance to be a part of that, and I've seen how local farming has evolved here. When we talk about supporting businesses, we're also talking about supporting farming families and the agri-food and tourism sectors. There's a lot of news out there about the NPCA, but my concern is that they're not doing enough to put farmers' needs on the agenda. To protect our agriculture land, ensure we have the data we need to expand our farms and recognize problem areas for farmers before they become an issue. We're paying tax dollars for these organizations, and they need to put the needs of our community first. Finally, I will stand to protect our unique character, architecture, and heritage. We won't get visitors down here supporting our businesses if our community looks like a big city landscape. I'm raising my kids here because I love this community and I want them to inherit the same beautiful place. By bringing residents and businesses into this conversation and put them at the forefront, we will find the balance that allows us to grow while respecting our heritage. I have an ambitious plan, but one I look forward to talking with you about. I hope you'll take the time to reach out to me during the course of this campaign. You can find me on Facebook or at markcherney.ca. Thank you.
Regional candidate David Lapp.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dave Lepp, and I am one of 4 candidates running for the one spot available at the Regional Council table. I'm a lifelong resident of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and have had the wonderful opportunity to live, work, and play in this town. I'm married to my wife, Paula, and together we have 2 children, Megan and Danielle. I've been involved in local politics for some time, both at the local level as well as at the region. I've considered myself a team player and have learned long ago how to work with other community representatives for the best outcome of the taxpayers. That's, we need to work together. So tonight we have been asked, what can I, if elected, do for the business community of Niagara-on-the-Lake? Well, let's look at what the region does. What are they responsible for? The region is responsible for a lot of the big things in the community, like looking after major roads, providing sewer plants, water lines to the communities. The region provides nursing homes to many of the 12 communities. Transit is also on the regional scene and will play a bigger part of the budget as we get closer to GO Transit. The region also provides policing, garbage and recycling collection, planning and cultural expertise, as well as a team of health professionals to stay ahead of incoming potential harmful diseases. The region also has a giant share of the local taxes. So let's start there. Policing is the biggest part of your regional tax, and over half of that total tax is going towards the police budget. 90% of that budget is wages. Wages are a part of a union bargaining process, and councillors have very little room in this budget to maneuver. If elected, I will ask for stronger police presence in our community to help provide for a safer community. And when it comes to taxes, I will be asking that we keep budget increases indexed to the cost of living or less. Regional roads is the second largest part of the tax budget, and it deals with the main roads in our community. Our issues in Niagara-on-the-Lake appear to be congestion and the ability of traffic to move. My solution to ease traffic congestion is to consider more, smaller roundabouts on our regional roads where intersections are under review. To their credit, roundabouts, or traffic circles, keep traffic moving, usually looking to merge with oncoming traffic as opposed to stops and starts. That's where the congestion starts, so we need to move traffic quickly on the main roads for the region. More and more communities are moving towards traffic circles in Ontario, and that will only help educate drivers who are not familiar with them. They are quite popular in other parts of the region, in other parts of Ontario, and that's for a very good reason. Water lines. A specific area along Lakeshore Road requires consideration of a water line. Connecting a water line main from Reed Road to the 4 Mile Creek Road would benefit many in our business community. There are enough greenhouses, wineries, fruit packing facilities, and homes in this area to make a good case for the extension. All the fire lanes in Niagara-on-the-Lake are also in that area and exist on cisterns and wells. The requirements for water update is coming from the greenhouse, winery, and fruit packing sector. There is a lot of pressure on these businesses during their annual food and audits. There are 20 such businesses in this area and much need of potable water. I will be lobbying the region to get this in the capital budget in the next 5-year capital budget. The need for workable transit system is also one slowly coming to fruition at the region. If we want GO Transit system to work for the residents of the region, all 12 municipalities need to be working from the same page with the same common goal. A transit system here in Niagara-on-the-Lake will benefit the business community as workers and visitors can use a new mode of transportation and leave their cars at home, also easing congestion. Ladies and gentlemen, please review my contact information provided in the back on a brochure and contact me if you have any questions. Please consider Dave Lepp for your vote as regional representative. Thank you.
Regional candidate Chuck McShane.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start by thanking Janice Thompson and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this great event. You know, our democracy is upheld. Sorry. Our democracy is upheld by dialogues such as this. I got my wrong glasses, I'm sorry, so I'm reading 3 different lines at a time. And thank you to everyone in attendance. It's always heartening to see earnest, healthy participation in local politics. The last time I was here addressing an audience was in May, during the Ontario provincial election. I was running for the Ontario PC Party as a candidate for Niagara Falls, Niagara-on-the-Lake, and Fort Erie. Although I was unable to secure a seat at Queen's Park, campaigning to represent my hometown taught me something more important about its residents. You sincerely care. You care about the past. Therefore, I ensure local heritage preservation remains a top priority at Regional Council. You care about the present. Therefore, I ensure taxes are kept low. The influx of traffic is managed, and more seniors' housing options are available. You also care about the future. Therefore, I will ensure Council is fiscally responsible and employs independent value for money audits to guarantee we are spending tax dollars intelligently. In the end, steering clear of debt and deficit. And finally, you care about Niagara-on-the-Lake. Therefore, regardless of sector, I will ensure business can thrive here. You know, I heard a story the other day when we talk about businesses and we talk about red tape. There was a business down on Mississauga Road, on Mississauga, that wanted to change the vinyl on their sign. Just their sign. They had to change nothing but the name or the colors or whatever. It took them a year to get approval from the regional government. Folks, this red tape has got to stop. It's our businesses, it's our small businesses within Niagara that have kept us all together. You know, folks, we wouldn't have this community center if it wasn't for the people that own businesses and the small businesses in Niagara. We wouldn't have the Double Pad Arena. We wouldn't have Memorial Park and new grass there. We need to support the individuals that have put their houses on the line. They've indebted themselves to ensure that we have places for our youth to work and even our seniors to work. We need to embody and help whatever companies come here to thrive. We can't hold them up. Our farmers are tied. They can't get water. They can't, like, we need to stop this. We need to say thank you very much to the business owners of Niagara, and we need to take care of. And before we even look at bringing new businesses in here, we need to straighten out all the wrongs that we have now, all the red tape that we put forth, all the taxation that we put forth, every barricade that we put in front of our business community. 90% of local businesses are owned by our neighbors and our community members. They sponsor our children to play hockey. They sponsor our children to play soccer. They sponsor our parades. They do all of that. We need to thank them for what they're doing. We need to help get rid of their red tape, and we need personally to support them by going there and going to their shops and purchasing from them. That's the number one thing that we need to do. I want to thank every business owner that's in this room for everything that you do for our community, and I will be there to help get rid of the red tape. Thank you so much.
Regional candidate, Gary Zalepa.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends, neighbors. Thank you to the Chamber for having us. I want to start by a brief introduction for those who don't know me. Born in Niagara, moved to Niagara-on-the-Lake when I was a teenager. I thought it was a bad idea when I was a teenager, but I stayed here. My wife, Tammy, and my two boys, Nathan and Benjamin, were still here. And a good thing, because I love it here. Tammy and I met in university, and after we got out of university, I started business with my dad. My dad's here, Gary Sr. There are two of us. And we ran a real estate office on the main street for over 20 years. And everything I learned, everything I know about real estate, I learned from my dad. I won't say that about politics, but and now I'm still in the real estate business, but I'm in corporate management. I do mergers, acquisitions for Century 21 Canada. I work from home, which is great. I get to work in this great town. When I go around the country and they ask where you live, you say Niagara-on-the-Lake, and they go, "Wow, you're lucky." I say, "You betcha." So I've got lots of experience in governance, over 15 years on various boards, volunteering in this community, across the province, across the country. In our community, I volunteer at Riverbrink Art Museum. It's a great place in Queenston to go check out. Local 809 Squadron Air Cadets. You might see me chasing the cadets with bottles, raising some funds for them. But also, I spent 6 years on this town council in the past, and it was a privilege to serve the community. And that was from 2008 to 2014. And why am I here now? It's because I want to get back into doing something good for the community, and I think I can. I'm currently not happy with the situation at the region, not happy with the behavior. I'm not happy with the partisanship. It's got to stop. And so how is it going to do that? I feel my previous experience in business, my track record at council, I've demonstrated I know how to do the work. I come prepared. I read the information. I understand it. I speak to residents, and I make decisions. And I have a really keen knowledge on the local issues. For business, regional infrastructure we need to work on, especially roads, infrastructure, road infrastructure, road safety. These are problems. The capital budget of the region hasn't kept up with Niagara-on-the-Lake's growth. You know as well as I know, try to get around the town when it's really busy with tourists. It just a plain example that the region's road structure isn't kept up. We also have to work on transportation into Niagara and around Niagara. Into Niagara is obviously GO trains and clearing the clutter on the Queen Elizabeth Way. GO trains have to happen. The region's moving forward with things. Key to make it happen is integration of transit across Niagara. There's a plan that's in place. The Region Integration Committee, I sat and watched the meeting a couple weeks ago. They have a budget item going forward. I will support that budget item. And that's a key to getting more users to GO trains, because we need express trains. Regular service is okay, but express trains are key to making it really work. The other item I'd like to talk about is Niagara's competitive advantage. I think right now we're not really winning on this one. Peel region is, York region is, other regions, Waterloo, they're winning these contracts, they're winning these investors. Why are we not? I want to understand better why we're not. I want to take a competitive review on things like development charges, planning and development fees, the process of planning and development, tax competitiveness, site availability, how we promote it, the cost to get a shovel in the ground. I want to understand why Niagara is not first on the list, because it's a great place to live, and we know that. So we need to work on that. So I feel with my previous experience, my track record, it backs up my comments, that I'm best suited to bring the Niagara-on-the-Lake leadership, whoever you elect for council, the Lord Mayor, to work together at the region. Working together for a strong voice at the region, so the region understands what makes Niagara-on-the-Lake such a great place to live, and the region respects our contribution. So I ask you to please put me back to work at the region for you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you to our regional candidates. For those that are live streaming and may have just come in, on behalf of Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce, we are now moving on to our candidates for council, who are answering the question, what will you do, if elected, to support business for the next term of council? Each candidate in this session will have 3 minutes. Same thing will happen as it has been happening previously. So let's get started. I would like to ask Norm Arsenault.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Norm Arsenault. If you want to know a little more about my background, I ask you to pick up one of my brochures, please, and go on my website, and it'll tell you more than you ever wanted to know about Norm Arsenault. First, I will tell you what I will not support. If this ever comes and rears its ugly head again, I will not support a municipal accommodation tax at this time. It is regressive, and we have other options. Second, we must identify unlicensed short-term rentals and mandate licensing for all rentals, including Airbnbs and VRBOs, and require that a property manager be available locally for all rentals. No more absentee landlords. Third, more than ever, many existing new businesses need access to communication infrastructure that offers both high speed and high volume capacity at reasonable prices. Niagara-on-the-Lake, through its shared municipal ownership in Niagara Regional Broadband Network, or NRBN as it's known, offers both high-speed and high-capacity data and internet service on a 750-kilometer totally fiber optics network, and in January of 2019, will roll out a voice-over internet protocol or VoIP telephone service. Keeping abreast of such services and promoting their use is one way in which I will seek to help our business community improve service and hopefully lower the cost of their operations. Fourth, I will recommend to Lord Mayor and Council that we create an economic development task force made up of local business professionals whose mandate will be to attract new industry to the peninsula, such as large logistics centers, head offices, information technology firms, just to name a few. Glendale Industrial Park is an ideal location for these type of businesses. We have the infrastructure at our fingertips and a clear advantage with NRBN and Niagara-on-the-Lake Hydro, both municipality-owned companies who, by the way, return hundreds of thousands of dollars annually to our general revenue. This ongoing and reliable revenue stream will help us keep our residential and commercial taxes stable going forward. We have an educated workforce and a college with the ability to create tailor-made training for any new or existing industry. Let's make use of these world-class businesses and start the process of reducing our reliance on assessment-based taxation. Niagara-on-the-Lake is on a turning point. We need sustainable development that is in keeping with who we are, with our heritage, our culture, and what our community needs. Our tourism industry is flourishing, but we need to invest in infrastructure upgrades that will sustain this kind of growth. We need an updated official plan, no doubt, and an updated transportation master plan, both 22 and 14 years old, respectively. We cannot manage without them. Gridlock is coming to Virgil unless we take immediate action. Ask me about this later on. Or visit my website where the full length of my speech will actually be there. On October 22nd, I ask you to vote for decisive leadership. Vote for long-term vision, vote for innovation, vote for integrity, vote for professional management, and vote for Norm Arsenault. Thank you.
Is it cracking? Is there anything we can do with that? Okay. Just let him work on it for a few seconds, see if there's something you can do.
There's not much I can do. What I would suggest, candidates, please don't speak directly into the microphone. That's going to get a lot of the cracking. So if you could just place it to the side. There's no windsock on this microphone. It's the in-house microphone. Okay, so try not to speak right into it. Hi, everybody at home.
So I'm going to try that now, so if I'm cracking, I apologize. But I'm cracking right now? Push it forward. All right. Candidate for council, Alan Bisbach.
It's okay, yeah. I just want to move this forward. Can you hear me at the back? Okay, before I start, how many people here own a business? Good, because I'm going to talk about business. First of all, thank you to the organizers. I was raised near Stratford, Ontario, and I retired from a career with Canada Post Corporation. I was very fortunate enough when I was there to create the first business unit within the Crown Corporation and implemented 3,500 postal franchises. And actually, when I retired, I was managing the largest retail network in Canada. Prior to that, I was vice president of sales for an independent grocery retailer, building, operating, and sometimes closing food stores in small and medium towns in southern Ontario. You would know it by the name of Sobeys. So I understand business, I think, and I think if you create the right environment, they will come. For the past 10 years, Laurie and I have operated an active bed and breakfast in Old Town. We have since sold that, and I can pursue other interests. While I believe local government cannot directly drive business growth, municipalities can create the right environment to facilitate business investment. I spoke, and so what I did is I decided to go out and speak to 3 local new businesses, a restaurant, a boutique inn, a retail shop, one in a different town. And the one thing they told me is that the process to set up their business in the last 2 years in Niagara-on-the-Lake is not straightforward. The rules are inconsistently applied. They're not well understood, even by staff. The level of bureaucracy in the process is a burden to them. The signage rules earlier mentioned is horrible. The licensing processes are not fairly used. And overall, those 3 entrepreneurs got the impression that town staff is not providing encouragement to business. Rather, they're creating hurdles to successfully navigate the required obstacles. Town staff need to be there to help business. What will I do to support business? I'll tell you what I would do. I'll listen, I'll consult, and I'll be available. I think with my background in customer service and as a member of town council, I can smooth out the processes, eliminating unnecessary steps, and ensure staff help the businesses start. Actions such as these will ensure that the overall experience will improve. It's important to remember that when we think about supporting business, we think that their customers are both customers, tourists, and local residents. Customers who live in Niagara-on-the-Lake should be encouraged to shop locally. We need to protect the vibrancy of Virgil, Old Town, and soon Glendale. So businesses locating in a friendly and welcoming environment, they'll come. We don't need to put the shingle out. They will come if they feel like they're welcome. I look forward to working closely with the Chamber of Commerce and the Virgil Business Association to help businesses to succeed. I believe with my customer experience and business background, I have the skills to make sure I can help. On October 22nd, 3rd box from the top, Alan Bisbach. Thank you.
Okay, Simon Bentall is unable to attend this night due to reasonable reasons, and I have been elected to read a response on behalf of him. I'm going to try to do that without cracking. So, on behalf of Simon Bentall, my name is Simon Bentall, and I'm running for council here in Niagara-on-the-Lake. I'm not, but I must apologize for not being in person, but my father has had to have a major operation in the UK, and I also have to look after my mother for a week, but will be back in full force after Thanksgiving. I am proud owner of the Scottish Loft for 3.5 years here in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is run by my family and loyal staff members. Before this, my family ran a successful cottage rental in Niagara-on-the-Lake for over 7 years, helping small businesses by listening to their needs, whether they are from accommodation, restaurants, retail, or in the farming community. It's a huge priority for me. I feel some of these sectors are constantly overlooked. Remember, without the hospitality and farming, Niagara would not be what it is today. If elected, what will I do to support business during the next term of council? Being the owner of the Scottish Loft, I employ 8 members of staff, including myself. During the winter, I take a considerable cut in my wages so I can keep my staff almost full-time. I would first put a firm stop on the stupid idea of closing Queen Street and making it pedestrianized. That would cause more congestion and illegal parking on the side streets. I would like to see the existing private car park at the old hospital for more public car parking and a pop-up style market for local people to sell their crafts and merchandise. But they must not display the same merchandise as to what the old town has already, as I would see more diversity that will bring more people into the town. The pop-up market can also host Christmas and seasonal markets that will also bring in more people during the quieter months. I would also like to see Niagara-on-the-Lake Business Council with a manager, spokesperson through the membership incorporating all 5 areas that can speak on behalf of the retail, hospitality, farming, trade between the Chamber of Commerce and the town itself, as I feel there's a lot of things that need to be shared that are not. I would like to be part of creating, and I'm about to talk current transit company about a more regular transit bus route connecting all 5 areas that make up this town. This, I feel, will elevate some of the traffic and parking problems. It will bring the community back together, like it was 11 years when I first moved here, as I feel it has become fragmented. It will be done before 3 or 4 years ago, but was not successful, as I feel it was not marketed well. With more businesses now in Niagara-on-the-Lake, we need a better connection hub, not just for tourists, but for locals as well, and will also connect the wineries and lessen the need to drive. Thank you. Fear of falling through my own trap door, I would like to ask candidate for council, Crispin Bottomley.
Thank you and good evening. Thank you to the Chamber, for residents, and those that are watching at home. My name is Crispin Bottomley, and I was raised here in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I've committed myself to this community. After graduating from Brock University with degrees in political science and education, I set myself to the tourism and transportation industry. I've seen your businesses, and I've seen business from all aspects, here locally, and later across the country as a member and recently elected president for Junior Chamber International Canada. On how I would be able to help business as a councillor, I believe that collaboration between the municipality and business hold the promise of significant progress in improving long-term economic growth, resilience, and improved quality of life. We need to consult with business and chamber members early in the next term during our strategic priority planning sessions. The best way to help grow business is from marketing within. I'll work to promote our residents shopping locally for goods and services, and this includes Niagara College student population. We can expand our transit to assist in this regard. We need to address the seasonality of Queen Street, and we need to help our agricultural sector get their products to market, and a review of secondary businesses on agricultural lands would be helpful. I'll advocate for a return of the parking committee, have frank discussions on traffic, and work to reduce obstacles and to paths of sales for our established business. This could mean making businesses more accessible to those with special needs, and I'm proposing town or government funds to help on this effort in the Heritage District. I have the contacts and relationships with the Brock University community to ensure that the Brock Niagara Forum for Advanced Research and Leadership is implemented, as a memorandum of understanding was signed back in 2016 to put Brock University in this building and create links to the Goodman School of Business. We need to bring together our commercial as well as real estate agents and developers to activate on our location within the Niagara Foreign Trade Zone. We're right along the border and we have our airport. Finally, we need to do a better job of economic development, getting out in front of people, meeting here at our hotels and conference centers. We can share what it is we already know is special. If you share these ideas, I ask you for your vote on the 22nd of October. Thank you.
Candidate for council, Mark Brown.
Thank you. I'm the new kid on the block, only having lived here 2.5 years. And tonight is a little bit of a difference for me because as the past chair of the Oakville Chamber of Commerce, I was usually the person that was holding the feet to the fire. It's a difficult question to answer, even though it's simple. What are you going to do for business? Business needs are different, depending on the size, the industry you're in. And I've got some... You can't hear me? How's that? It's not popping? Okay. So what am I going to do to support business in the next term of council? As I said, easy question, difficult answer given the different needs of businesses. So first I'm going to ask some questions of the Chamber of Commerce. What is it you want council to do? What do you want your councillors to do on behalf of business? What are the sensitive points when it comes to relations with council? Within the Chamber network, relations with council is a constant theme. Do you feel the communication is good enough or not good enough? The chamber I came from was a successful advocacy and networking chamber, so I'm well aware of the power of the chamber network across Ontario and Canada. I've participated in many roundtables with provincial and federal government ministers, MPs, MPPs, and senior business executives to start drawing business in to the chamber that I was involved in, to the extent that we grew from the 6th largest chamber to the 4th largest chamber in the province. So I understand the value of that type of networking, and I'm going to put that type of skill at your disposal. A healthy collaborative relationship with town can make these types of events more potent. If the issues are red tape, my attitude is red carpet, not red tape. We should adopt. We should make it easier. Council can be an effective advocacy body for local business, and it should be used as such with the Chamber. Now, the synergy between the tourism and grape and wine industry, I think, in NOTL is self-evident. It's a business success story and should continue. And the way I'm going to support that industry is I'm not going to walk in and tell anybody what to do. You're already doing it. You don't need my advice. So I'll stay out of the places where I don't need to be. But it is one that is putting strains on the community, particularly in the form of traffic, especially during the busy season. It's something that we need to be mindful as we go forward. Success could kill the golden goose. As an example, an accommodation tax, in my view, misses the mark of dealing with that particular issue. Effective bylaw enforcement is not only a safety issue, but it helps encourage the lawful bed and breakfast industry. Now, finally, the tourism tends to be focused within the community. It's an inward focusing. We need to look outwards beyond the Welland Canal and go after that prestige industrial business that is available and is looking for places to locate. I hope you'll lend me your vote on October 22nd. Thank you.
Candidate for Council, Gary Burrows.
Thank you. And my name is Gary Burrows, and thank you all for being here tonight. I think in recent years I have represented the taxpayers of Niagara-on-the-Lake at both the region and the town. I'm running again because the town is changing, and I want to ensure it changes for the better. I am a chartered accountant, and before I entered politics, I was a businessman and owned and managed the Oban Inn with 108 employees for 30 years. I also owned other hospitality and retail businesses in town. I can relate to your issues. Along with the town, our business community is changing. When I was in business, the hospitality and retail industry was primarily in the Old Town, and particularly on Queen Street. At that time, businesses were usually owner-operated. Now, shops are often managed by lessees at additional cost. We now have a thriving and growing restaurant and retail business sector in Virgil. Glendale has new hotels with more planned, the Outlet Mall, and plans for a new main street. There are plans for a hotel and more retail space at the Village. Wineries and related retail businesses continue to pop up. Agritourism has grown significantly in the past few years, and farm operations must be allowed to respond to their new business opportunities. Hoarding is not acceptable on Queen Street or in any other business community, and council must work to remove it. We need to manage these many changes. We cannot deal with development as one-offs. We must have a coordinated plan with the town, region, and province all working together to promote business, with much of the focus on tourism. Businesses cannot thrive if people can't get there. We must work together to ensure that we will have the infrastructure, parking facilities, and alternate means of transportation to get tourists and staff to our businesses. My priorities include improving dealings between town council, town staff, and taxpayers. Town council and staff exist for the sole purpose of serving taxpayers. We also need to improve communications. Businesses and residents need to be better informed. We all need to know where our tax dollars go, and we want to know that we only pay our fair share. Taxpayers must understand how they can be heard and know that they will be. I believe the Lord Mayor should meet monthly with stakeholders, including the Chamber and Virgil Business Association and Ratepayer and Residents Group. The Lord Mayor must listen, coordinate with council, and respond proactively. Thank you.
Candidate for Council, Claire Cameron.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Claire Cameron, and I live in Virgil. I hold a master's degree in history and an MBA from the Goodman School of Business. I also possess a decade of progressive work experience in the municipal sector, and am currently managing the Business Intelligence Program at the City of Burlington, implementing data analytics for service performance measurement in one of Canada's top municipalities. I'm running for council to preserve what makes Niagara-on-the-Lake unique. And to me, this includes encouraging the success of local, independent, and family-run businesses across our entire community. As a councillor, I will support business by cutting the red tape at Town Hall. And this is no catchphrase to me. It's what I do in real life. Throughout my career, I have redesigned public processes for a wide array of municipal services. Efficiency is at the heart of my current role, and I will apply this way of thinking to my work as a town councillor. On tourism, I will encourage an approach that looks beyond the sheer quantity of visitors to our town and specifically targets a type of visitor who can stay multiple nights, see more of our villages, and spend a greater amount of money on local goods and services. For long-term prosperity and economic diversification, we need to market Niagara-on-the-Lake as an attractive place to invest and to do business year-round. I will push for more effective management of traffic and parking in our commercial areas. And I will work to establish a physical hub for local economic development services, providing modern space to market NOTL products, host new learning opportunities, and make co-work areas available to entrepreneurs. Finally, I will request creation of an open data program at the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake. By sharing more data and economic indicators about our community, the town can become a valuable source of information to assist businesses in strategic planning and evidence-based decision-making. With my 4 years of experience on advisory committees, my active and ongoing career in the municipal sector, my education and ability to build relationships, I am ready to produce tangible results as a town councillor from day one. A vote for Claire Cameron is a vote for a strong voice who will be the advocate of local businesses at the council table. I look forward to meeting with all of you, and I hope to earn your support. Thank you.
Candidate for Council, Wendy Chiropata.
I was born and raised in Niagara and have been involved in the business world my entire career. I spent half of my career in senior marketing roles with top global... Someone saying they can't hear me? I was born and raised in Niagara and have been involved in the business world my entire career. I spent half of my career working with global companies in the international wine business, and I have spent the balance of it, I'm proud to say, in the Ontario wine industry. For 6 years, I led the marketing strategy for the Ontario wine industry, working with a multi-stakeholder team of both industry and government, where consensus building and collaborative planning resulted in double-digit sales growth every year and a significant increase in tourism visitation. This was accomplished by shifting the focus from a category of wines to the more compelling brand Wine Country Ontario that was all about place, people, and the consumer experience. Today, I'm a small business strategic planning consultant, helping business improve their performance and drive growth. So what will Wendy Chiropata do for the business community if I'm elected? I believe that we need to remove the barriers and streamline the permit processes for both new and existing businesses. We should be focused on building and maintaining a strong and healthy business community. Tourism, number 2, is a vital part of our economy. Tourists today seek authentic experiences. We need to have a well-funded tourism strategy that focuses on attracting and retaining what I call high-value tourists, because that generates the most profits for our business community. I would like to explore best practices in promoting our rich history, heritage, culture, and businesses by adopting new wayfinding technology, which is available. There's a lot of wonderful examples. A few of us have started to explore some ideas to improve and move tourists through our community. We also need to be proactively recruiting businesses to provide the services for our residents, like doctors, dentists, orthodontists, retailers, and specialty shops. We need to create high-value jobs for young people by identifying and recruiting specific sectors to our community in partnership with regional and provincial partners and Niagara College. For example, like creating a research and technology hub in Glendale. I think in closing, I have one more point, sorry, the heritage tax. That hasn't come up. I think we need to explore and find solutions to help the local retailers, and there are some wonderful best practices available. For the record, I'm not in favor of the tourism tax on hotel rooms, and in closing, I'd like to keep taxes lower, provide exceptional customer service, and drive smart economic growth. Thank you.
Unable to attend, Terry Davis, and I will read, as elected, a response on behalf of Terry. Good evening. Let me begin by saying how sorry I am that I cannot attend tonight's meeting. A family commitment, in this case, a long-planned trip to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary, called me away. I'd also like to thank the Chamber for giving me the chance to address you this evening. Perhaps it is appropriate that I am in Budapest tonight, that I came to this beautiful city via Prague and Vienna. All three cities are steeped in history. People come to these cities from all over the world to see their historic buildings, parks, gardens, experience the culture, and enjoy the local ambiance. Tourism is an economic driver in all three cities. The same holds true in the Niagara-on-the-Lake. Our historic buildings, cultural and natural heritage, streetscapes, three canopy, green space, and location make our town a wonderful place to live, work, and visit. They not only bring tourists here, but also a significant contribution to our local economy. We can't afford to lose them. I believe that preserving our natural and cultural heritage by saying no to development that does not reflect the heritage characteristics of our town is the most important thing Council can do to promote economic growth in Niagara-on-the-Lake. To do that, Council must update the town's official plan. Not only will updating the plan provide greater certainty to residents, businesses, farmers, and residents about future development, it will also provide Council with an effective tool and vision to shape the future of Niagara-on-the-Lake. The plan, along with the amendments required to implement it, including bylaws to set height restrictions, setbacks, and land uses, will make it possible for Council to keep our town what it is, one of the most beautiful places to live, work, and visit in the world. That, in turn, will bring residents, tourists, economic opportunities to our town. I believe Council should also listen carefully to residents, farmers, when it considers future requests from developers for bylaw changes and variances. Residents and farmers are at the heart and soul of our community. I want to be the voice for them on Council. In addition, I believe that supporting the development of stores and businesses that cater to the day-to-day needs of residents makes economic sense. We can boost economic activity in our town outside of the tourist season, enhance tax base, and make Niagara-on-the-Lake an even better place to live, work, and visit. Let me finish by saying once again, I'm sorry I could not be here this evening. If you have any questions or concerns you would like to raise with me, I will be at the Presbyterian Church on Simcoe Street at 2 p.m. October 10th. Thank you and good night. Candidate for Council, Dennis Dick.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis Dick, and I have been a lifelong resident and business owner in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and am proud to be a member of the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce. I would like to recognize all the businesses we have across our municipality and thank them for being here. I suspect we don't do that often enough. In order to support our businesses, I believe we have to recognize some facts. The main economic driver for Niagara-on-the-Lake is tourism. Tourism supports retail merchants, restaurants, B&Bs, and hotels, which, as a sector, are our largest taxpayers. Tourism also supports our cultural venues, such as Shaw, Music Niagara, and our museums. Agritourism supports our wineries, microbreweries, and farm businesses, such as roadside stands and farmers markets. I believe that our businesses are working hard at making it as simple as possible to get to their locations, and it's council's role to provide safe and efficient streets and roads to get people there. Highway 55 is the main thoroughfare into the Old Town. As we all know, it is extremely busy in the summertime, and it is difficult to egress businesses in Virgil. Council needs to pressure the region of Niagara to build a third lane to accommodate left turns in order to keep the traffic flowing. Council needs to tackle the challenge of parking in the Old Town. With the purchase of the old hospital site, perhaps there is an opportunity to consider a new innovative parking strategy to relieve congestion on our residential streets. To help our rural businesses, such as wineries and fruit stands, Council needs to widen the roads to accommodate bike lanes for the safety of bicycle tourists and e-bike users. The whole success of bicycle tourism and safe routes needs to be incorporated in our transportation master plan for Niagara-on-the-Lake. Using a 10-year plan, Council can determine which roads need to be upgraded and budgeted for on a priority usage basis. Council also needs to aid businesses by improving wayfinding appropriate signage to make it easier for people to travel between various businesses should be considered. I would like to thank the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce for all the events they sponsored to promote Niagara-on-the-Lake as the premier tourist destination in Canada. And if elected, will pledge to support the business community. I humbly ask for your support. Vote for Dennis Stick.
Candidate for Council, Terry Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, everybody, for coming this evening to this format. It's a little different, but I'm glad that most of you are here tonight from businesses and as residents of Niagara-on-the-Lake. As was indicated, my name is Terry Flynn. I guess I do have to do a bit of an introduction because some people may not know who I am, but I have been on council now for 21 years, and I've been a lifelong resident. Grew up on Regent Street across from the funeral home, 5 generations, grandmother around the corner. And growing up, I had the pleasure of actually being able to work in this wonderful municipality, starting with the Shaw Festival as an usher and then a house manager, a couple stores on the main street, the Stagecoach restaurant, believe it or not. And then I was able to grow into my role as a paramedic and now superintendent of operations for the Niagara EMS service in the region. I'm also a proud volunteer firefighter of 35 years and a member of the Niagara-on-the-Lake Lions Club. And I give back to my community. That's what I was taught. And I look out this room and I recognize some people, and particularly I see Janice Thompson sitting over there. And I remember when she first came to town, she had a little restaurant she was operating where the Irish Harp is now. And at that point, I had a key to that place, and she's coming from a larger municipality. How the heck does this happen in such a small town? But that's the way we were, open door. Get to know your neighbors, and as I indicated in Queenston, trust the people in your community. Work with the associations. I made a note here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We have some great talent in this municipality, and I go back to the Bed and Breakfast Association when we started with that, and we worked on putting programs together so that we didn't have just monster homes and people coming in and absentee landlords. As we're moving forward with the Airbnbs, we need to revisit some of that and figure out where we're going with that. Each term of council, I take a look at what we've accomplished, and I specialize in certain chairs, I guess. So this community center is a testament to what work we've done. The library next door. The hydro, it was mentioned about the hydro as well. We put a great board together and we trust our people. Trust the people in this community. Yes, it is working, but we have traffic flow problems. We recognize that. But together, I think we can make that work. I put faith in the Chamber of Commerce and what they've done and Niagara Tourism. We don't need all these small committees. We need to put faith in the people who run this town, who are invested in this town. So on October 22nd, when you do go into that ballot, I hope you will consider it's not just about new people, it's about having some seasoned veterans there as well, who have the experience and have a proven track record on making things work. So again, thank you, everybody.
Candidate for Councillor, Lauren Gottler.
Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lauren Gettler. I moved to Niagara-on-the-Lake 3 years ago with my husband Vaughn and our youngest son Louis, who lives with us and works with us. We love Niagara-on-the-Lake. In fact, we were married here. So when we had the opportunity to buy a historic house in Old Town, we jumped at the chance. We've always loved the people, the history, the architecture, the wineries, the green space, and the local culture, all in close proximity to the water. Recently, our town has become challenged in controlling its own destiny, with questionable applications for development, the cutting of old-growth trees, and the potential demolition of our historic treasures, most notably the Rand Estate. Over the past 3 years, our council has been unable to make the necessary decisions to control growth, and certain undesirable development activities have gone unchallenged. My husband and I run 8 businesses, 7 heating and air conditioning businesses, and 1 call center. We are the largest independently owned residential replacement heating and air conditioning company in Canada. We have 278 employees. I know how to run a business, and I know what it is like to meet a payroll. I wasn't looking for a job. I decided to run for council because I love this town, and I think I can help guide it over the next 4 years in a positive direction. In fact, I have said that I will donate my councillor's salary to a not-for-profit or charitable organization or organizations located in Niagara-on-the-Lake that the residents may choose. I have challenged my running mates to do the same. The question today is, what would I do for local business? The Chamber of Commerce does an excellent job, and I don't think that I can improve on that. The Glendale-York Road area is a natural one for attracting world-class businesses. It is ideally located in a part of the town such that its growth does not negatively impact traffic, congestion, and degrade local roads. It is right beside the QEW and just a few minutes away from the US border. It also has quick access to the airport, and all we would need then is the GO train. I would work to see businesses incentivized for their growth and hiring and training of local workers. That includes farming. Incentivized could be the use of property tax credits to expand, hire, and train locally. I plan to utilize my business and volunteer experience to bring the knowledge and integrity to represent you. I will listen, learn, and represent you in council and preserve the well-being of all of Niagara-on-the-Lake. A new fresh face and approach is required on council to bring the transparency needed to protect the communities of Niagara-on-the-Lake and promote a thoughtful and measured growth that meets the needs of all stakeholders and not just a select few special interest groups. Please vote for me, Lauren Gettler, on October 22nd. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Candidate for Councillor, Gus Coronius.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gus Coronius. I'm a lifelong resident of the Niagara region. I've lived in St. David's for the last 10 years, along with my wife Taryn and my 2 beautiful little girls. Niagara-on-the-Lake is a gem that we need to preserve and protect through policies in our official plan. We attract 3.5 million visitors each year from all around the world. We are known as the most beautiful town in Canada. Its popularity stems from its charm, history, and heritage. One of my first priorities on council is to put policies in our official plan through a community planning permit system to protect our unique area before we pave it over. We need to support and further develop the Niagara District Airport. As a past airport commissioner, I am proud to have been part of a team that supported the terminal expansion. This is a great gateway to Niagara, which has not yet reached its full potential. We need more flights to more destinations. People and businesses are burdened with high taxes. It is evident we in Niagara-on-the-Lake are disproportionately taxed. We are the third largest tax base within the Niagara region, behind St. Catharines and Niagara Falls. It is apparent that the formula is not working when Niagara-on-the-Lake gives the region nearly $12 million per year for our share of the policing budget. This needs to be looked at immediately. I'm up for the challenge. I'm a multi-business owner. I have a diverse background. I've sat on numerous boards from agriculture, health, to transportation. I practice an evidence-based methodology which deals with facts and data to achieve a well-thought-out conclusion. I am beholden to no one. I am accountable to all of you, the residents of Niagara-on-the-Lake. We need bright, skilled, diverse people around the table that will participate in debate so that the council can be successful and the town can move forward. Please visit votegus.ca for more information. Thank you.
Candidate for council, Ann Kurtz-Just.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Kurtz-Just. Through my family's business, Kurtz Orchards, my family name of Kurtz might be more recognizable. The just comes through courtesy of marriage, but as I tell most people I meet, please just call me Ann. Family businesses are the backbone and the foundation of our business community here in Niagara-on-the-Lake. We as families and businesses, Penner, Deitch, Redicop, Enns, Delot, Hunter, and more, play a leading role in the social and economic prosperity of our entire community. To achieve continued quality, not quantity of growth in Niagara-on-the-Lake, we as family businesses are charged with passing on our entrepreneurial skills, not just to pass a business from one generation to the next, but are charged with creating new streams of opportunity across many generations. We as family businesses in Niagara-on-the-Lake are entrepreneurs. We are innovators. We are strategic planners at their finest. Some of us, like myself, do indeed have formal business education and degrees. However, in all honesty, after over 30 years in my own family's business, of doing business specifically in Niagara-on-the-Lake, well, that is a specialized business degree in itself. It's a degree that has a class called Perseverance in its curriculum. My case study from this class is this. Decades ago, much planning thought in Ontario was that the best way to preserve agriculture was to do absolutely nothing. But then there came pioneers from Niagara-on-the-Lake, like my own family, like the Dinley family, like the Piliteri family, that persevered for the right to farm with innovation, for the right for farmers to be entrepreneurs, and for the right to strategically position their family businesses as healthy and sustainable for future generations. These are the family businesses that turn peach crops into peach nectar and wine, well, grape from wines, into wine. That same case study set precedent for all of Ontario's farmers, specifically in the area of planning. However, it unfortunately took several town councils and an OMB hearing to achieve success for these family businesses. I bring to Niagara-on-the-Lake business community over 30 years of practical knowledge of doing business in this community. I believe that I have achieved this specialized Niagara-on-the-Lake business degree through entrepreneurship, as recognized by being named Ontario's Farm Marketer of the Year, and through innovation, as awarded the Premier of Ontario's Award for Agri-Food Excellence. I will support business in the next term of council through perseverance, etc. Thank you. My name is Ann.
Candidate for council, Martin Mazza.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully this won't take long. We need to protect the Niagara Lake brand. Niagara Lake is the envy of every Ontario municipality. We own the goose that lays the golden egg. Why me? Grassroots. I'm in my 25th year of business in Virgil. I'm also in my 25th year as a member of the Virgil Business Association. I'm also in my 20th some odd year of being a member of the Niagara Lake Kinsmen. Niagara Lake is still a small town with intelligent residents who remain engaged. We have a room full of these engaged residents here tonight. The grassroots approach is not lost on me. I live it, I breathe it, it's in my blood. Working together in unison, residents, sports organizations, service clubs, businesses, is a benefit to all. One councillor cannot do it alone. That's why there's 8 of us. I'm hoping you, as a voter in Niagara Lake, will allow me to work with the 8 lucky and brave councillors you will choose on the 22nd of this month. I think I'm done, and if anybody else needs my spare time, you're welcome to it.
Candidate for council, Stuart McCormick.
Sorry, did you say McCormick or McCormack?
McCormack.
Oh, thank you. So to remind you all, the question, can you hear me? Can you hear me? To remind you all, the question posed by the chamber is, if elected, what will you do to support business during the next term of council? I must say I was slightly nonplussed by that question. The law firm that I practiced at for 27 years was known as a global leader in Canadian business law. So in short, what I've been doing for 27 years is helping business do business. The majority of what I did was give legal advice and handle complex negotiations on behalf of clients, which were businesses of all sizes, small, medium, and large. There are, in my opinion, basically 2 types of counselors. The counselor that says, no, it can't be done, and the counselor who says, it can't be done the way you think it can, but there's another way to get there. The firm where I worked was known as a firm of problem solvers. So in many respects, my legal career has been built on the simple proposition of solving problems in support of business. So I would view one of the roles of counselors, amongst other things, as being in support role for all of the various business communities, including the agribusiness, hospitality, arts and culture, commercial and retail communities. Having said that, I think that one matter which might require some attention is creating an economic development officer position specifically for Niagara-on-the-Lake. Currently, we have the CAO coordinating with the Niagara Region Economic Development Office. I'm not sure that is sufficient. I think there are people in the community which I have met which are more qualified and may even be prepared to volunteer their time to this effort. I know many of my fellow candidates have asked for your vote. What I have asked for is for people to do their due diligence with respect to each of these candidates. Visit their websites, mine is stuartmccormack.com, examine their history, see what they stand for, and vote for the candidates you believe are qualified to serve on council. To me, this is a watershed election for this town. I sincerely hope we get it all right for our sakes. This town deserves to have the best representation on council for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Candidate for council, Bartlemy Alley.
Thank you, everyone. I am a business owner, and all the business owners that I speak to say, keep government out of my business. And I believe that wholeheartedly. But as a council, what we can do for a business is have the executive of the Chamber of Commerce, all those leaders together, and educate our staff. Our staff run a municipality. They don't run a business. They should run it as a business. It'd be far more efficient if they did. So as a counselor, I hope to be on the next council on October 22nd to get your vote. It is the staff of Niagara-on-the-Lake that needs to be educated in the terms of how to run a business. I know how to run a business. I work 7 days a week. I run successful businesses. I employ nearly 30 people. And they rely on my expertise to keep ensuring that they get a paycheck. It is hard work. It's not easy. There's no degree in the world that can teach you how to run a business and suffer and have its successful moments as well. My wife and I work constantly at thriving and expanding our business. But in Niagara-on-the-Lake, we need to improve the relationship between business leaders and town staff. Counselors that have education or have worked in a business are far more valuable to this community because they know how it is to suffer on a daily basis and employ people. Those are struggles, and those are accomplishments, and they provide leadership. We are taxed at $29 million in 2018. The burden on the taxpayer, on the commercial person, a small business is paying $40,000 a year in a commercial taxation. That's where we need to help that's the business owners. Help them on the taxation. Help them with that. We don't need government involved in the business. What we need is the executive of this company, of the chamber, to educate our staff. Our staff will then be far more educated and be on the same page. On October 22nd, I hope to get your vote and participate and make this town even better. Thank you.
Candidate for council, Andrew Niven.
Thank you, Paul. To start, I would like to thank Janice Thompson, the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce, and the Community Center for hosting tonight's All Candidates evening. I would also like to thank all those in attendance, as well as my fellow candidates, who I can say that over the course of this journey have been honored to get to know you and truly respect your vision and commitment to our town. My name is Andrew Niven, and I'm asking for your support in my run for Niagara-on-the-Lake Town Council. I grew up here, I work here, and I raise my family here. I want to be part of a team of councillors who each bring a strength to the table and will work with the residents towards a united vision. I'm the Director of Marketing at Consulman Estate Winery. I'm the current chair of the Wineries of Niagara-on-the-Lake, the Ice Wine Festival, and the Candlelight Stroll. I sit on the Tourism Partnership Board, Regional Board of Niagara, and involved in both the Communications and Golf Committee. I've also been very fortunate to sit on the Chamber of Commerce Board over the past 4 years, and have seen firsthand the importance of local business and the central role they play in a healthy community. Our local businesses don't just fill jobs, they create jobs. They create commerce, they create experiences, and they create vitality that our town needs. But throughout the journey, they need coaching. They need access to mentors and industry experts. They need capital and funding. They need introductions to new clients. I believe if our town works closer with the Chamber, we can encourage our business community and create an ecosystem that we can draw information, guidance, and support from. We have some of the brightest minds living here in Niagara-on-the-Lake in our country. Let's get them engaged in the process. I will push for increased marketing dollars to properly promote our local business and attract ideal customers, especially in the shoulder seasons. Finally, we need to approve the Heritage Tax Rebate Program, which will bring over $1.8 million each year back to our downtown core. In closing, I realize this is a critical moment in our town's journey and am ready and willing to put in the work going forward. I will push for clear and transparent communication. I will speak out for what's right and shake up the status quo. I will be true to our founding principles. Let's control development and protect our heritage. Let's strengthen our infrastructure and plan for a strategic future. Let's help our farmers and protect our wine industry. Let's celebrate our wins and learn from our losses. No matter where we live in Niagara-on-the-Lake, we cannot solve the challenges of today unless we solve them together. That's what I stand for, and I hope you'll stand with me on October 22nd. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Candidate for Council, Sandra O'Connor.
Good evening. My name is Sandra O'Connor, and I'd like to work for you and with you on Town Council. The question here tonight is, what would I do to support business? Well, the business sector is an integral part of our community, but all of the sectors are interconnected. Protecting and enhancing our cultural and natural heritage is important to the business community, because if we destroy what makes us special, we also impact our economic base. Business needs stability to flourish. That's why we need a strong official plan with consistent zoning that ensures that employment lands are adequately addressed for business opportunities and businesses can plan for the future. Transportation. Employers recognize the importance of good public transit systems for their workforce and for their customers. Progress has been made towards integrating Niagara's public transit system to serve the riders better, but it needs to be taken further to possibly a single fare box, and also by including unserved areas such as St. David's. I support Niagara's innovation agenda and would like to explore more partnerships programs among businesses, universities, and colleges that promote, nurture, and reward innovation, new technologies, products, and services, particularly in the agri-food, biotechnology, and auto sectors, which I think work well with our particular town. I would like to expand business opportunities by making better use of grant partnership programs with the various levels of government, for example, the region's Community Improvement Program or Niagara Investment in Culture Program. And just recently, we read about the federal infrastructure investments in Niagara's National Historic Sites. All of that will bring in business to our community. I believe in being inclusive and to listening to all the stakeholders in this community, including the business sector, when making important decisions for this town. Yesterday, I heard from one of the local business people that more festivals located on Queen Street would help business. I think we should look into that, listen to the people, and follow up. The infrastructure gap is an important issue. There now exists a backlog of outstanding work in crucial municipal infrastructure areas, such as roads, bridges, water mains, and sanitary sewers. We need to work with the region, the province, and the federal government to address this. I believe in the open data approach because good policy depends on good data. More online business services for accessibility are needed. I would like to reduce regulatory burdens by reducing bottlenecks while still protecting the public's interests. That's cutting the red tape. Thank you very much.
Candidate for Council, Bernard Peters.
Hello, my name is Bernard Peters. The good thing about being letter P as your last name, you get to hear everybody else and get to steal their good ideas. The reason why I'm running for council is I'm tired of the red tape. I'm tired of being there and nothing gets done. So that's why I'm running, because I want to have a voice. Being a business owner, I've taken 4 businesses out of receivership. It's not always how much money you make, it's how well you spend your money. Especially as city council, we have a budget. It's how well we spend the money, not how much money we sometimes have. One slogan I heard not too long ago, if you make a wrong decision, it's right. If you make a right decision, it's a right. If you make no decision, it's wrong, right? And the biggest problem we have as businesses is we have great ideas, we're full steam ahead, you get to City Hall, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, brakes are on, and you're back paddling. It's a dead stop sometimes. And one of the reasons is, it was mentioned today, staff members are scared to put their life on their line. It's their jobs on the line. They don't want to take action. They have their 9-to-5 job, they're happy with it, and they rather say no or shove you aside than make decisions. We need to change that. That has to stop. That is stopping businesses all the way around. With the problem with traffic, one of the best ideas that I think might be is try to bring old steam locomotives back to town. Get a train line into town where they park out in Glendale and get train enthusiasts into town, where you have a museum where people get to run their trains on a track, have a circular track that can service a lot of different areas. That would bring a lot of tourists in, it would bring a lot of enthusiasts in, and it would also relieve some of the traffic problems that we have existing. So what I can bring to City Council is, I've run several successful businesses. I've started a second electrical company for my kids. Might have wired some of your houses out here. So I'm a business owner, know what it is to run a business, and that's why I say vote for me, Bernard Peters.
Candidate for council, Catherine Reed.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. First, I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself. I live in Queenston, and I previously lived on William Street for a few years. In 1981, my degree in geography and statistics was put to use in the wine industry, starting at Château de Charmes, Sunnybrook Farm, and Miranisson. I worked for the Town of Fort Erie Economic Development and Tourism Corporation as a database programmer. I now work for Joseph State Wines. I also worked for the Well and Recreation Department, first as a playground leader, then as a pool attendant at Memorial Park Pool. I understand the needs for a recreation and a pool. I do spend my free time volunteering for the Lions Club. I've been region chair twice, which covers the clubs this side of the canal and the 4 clubs in St. Catharines. To support business, I would encourage more agribusiness tours, especially for the small companies. We have wonderful wineries, creative craft breweries, delightful distilleries, captivating cideries, precious preserves, heavenly honey, glorious greenhouses, friendly farm markets, and complicated cannabis. The small producers need a little bit more recognition and should be easier to locate. Even a Facebook page like Ontario Southwest could help. Small businesses can hire more staff and keep things fresh. I also sit on 2 town committees. The safety committee is very concerned with the safety of the town. My favorite parts are the migrant bike rodeo and the bike map. This will help keep cyclists and keep the roads safer. There is great teamwork on this committee. The Agricultural Committee has seen many changes this term. The Greenbelt maps in 2017, the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority mapping in 2015, and the legislation that encompasses each map is important. My concern is, at this moment, that all the maps do not match in their hydrological features. To me, as a geographer, the maps are the blueprints of the operation plan. The map needs to be correct before building the foundation of the EOP. My biggest concern at the moment is with the town's planning department. From my perspective, the planners who wrote the team's playbook were hired by the opposing team. Even if we have a Wayne Gretzky, Larry Bird, Babe Ruth, and Peyton Manning, it would still be difficult to win this situation. The designing of a new official plan requires a good planning department and a few council members that understand planning regulations. I feel I have a good understanding of the town's planning department. I comprehend the needs of the community. I have been to many of the open houses and respect the views and desires of the residents. On the live streams, if you ever watch them, you can see me in the background taking notes. Thank you.
Candidate for Council, Erwin Weems.
Hello, local business owner. I'm the government and I'm here to help. How many times have we heard that? So everybody's going to tell you what the council should do, but the reality is what we need to do as a council is that we need to not hinder, not get in the way. What we need to do is help. Business is here for reasons, the prettiest town in Canada. That's why they're here. That's why they're prospering. But the question before us that the Chamber put is how are we going to support the business? What I would do is I would go back to all the businesses that have dealt with the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake in the last 18 months and ask them, what was positive? What was negative? What can we do to help? Find out from the business owners. I'm a business owner, but I'm a specialty business owner, so I can't do all the answers, but what I can do is find out from the business owners what they need. We need to promote what we do right, and we need to eliminate what we do wrong. And that. So the next question everybody tells you is, well, you're a counselor. You don't have much to do because it's the staff. Perfect. I read in our annual report that we have excellent employees. I take our annual report as its word. Everybody comes to work to do a good job, a great job. They don't say, I'm going to be incredibly average today. I'm not going to do anything. What they need is leadership. They need guidance because they want to do a good job. This is Niagara-on-the-Lake. So what we need to do is we need to empower people to make the answers, to give the decisions. And so when they make a mistake, we don't cut them down, we support them because they're going to be long-time employees of this town. We don't want to lose them, we want to encourage them. That's what we do to move ahead. It's that simple. The question is how do we promote business? Talk to business, move back. Every business owner knows that it's easier to keep a customer than get a new customer. Let's not lose any more businesses. Let's find out what we do right. Once we do all that right, they'll come. It's the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake. They'll come. But we got to make it, but we got to do it right. That's what we do. Trust me, I'm a business owner. I've been on the police department for 29 years, and I've been involved with municipal leadership. I know how municipal employees work, and they all want to come to do the work, and they want to do it right, but they feel that they're hindered. Let's not hinder our employees, because it's the staff that are going to make the decisions for our business. And what we need to do is support them. That's not backbiting, that's not criticizing, and what that is holding them accountable in private and praising them in public. That's how we get ahead. We have a motion to be the best. We got to be the best because we're the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake. On October 22nd, you have 8 votes for council. I humbly request that Erwin Weems is one of those votes. Thank you. I'm about to take yours.
And my agenda.
Sorry.
No, all good. Thank you. Candidate for Council, John Weens.
Thanks, President Paul. Friends and neighbors, my name is John Weens, and I'm committed and ready to continue to embrace the challenge as a Niagara-on-the-Lake councillor and would be honored to serve the families of this great town of ours. I believe that I bring a unique blend of business wisdom, local commitment, and strong values that will allow me to represent our community, interest, and deal with our town issues directly and honestly at the council table. I was born and raised in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I'm a well-known business leader in our community for over 44 years. This experience has been in the tourism and hospitality industry, a sector that is vital to this community. I was raised with a set of values and beliefs that have been the foundation for my success. I believe in the importance of truth and straight talk. We deserve to talk about our issues and not around them. I believe in being approachable and accountable. Every day in the hospitality industry, I need to listen. I need to connect with people. My job is to serve people. And as a counselor, that was my mindset and will continue to be my mindset. I am hardwired and open to be receptive and responsible. That is simply who I am. I'm committed to our community, and I believe that leaders are the people who step up and make a difference in where we live. And I believe that this type of person we need as a counselor and to make a real difference for Niagara-on-the-Lake. I am proud of my record as a counselor and was honored to serve as your Deputy Lord Mayor. As well, I'm very proud of giving back to our community, and I have thoroughly enjoyed my years of local, regional, and initiatives since the 1980s. I've listed a number of issues that I feel are very important for our next council in my brochure that's at the back table. Now for the Chamber's question. First and foremost, the new council must build bridges for our business community and residents to have a more open dialogue with our new CAO, the directors, and their departments. The town needs to welcome discussions and business ideas and questions if you're home-based business or plan to start a newer, larger business. Prepare and maintain a complete list of current planning, zoning, bylaws, permitted use, parking, permits, licensing, as well as contacts for each department. I will support to spend more time and resources in preparing a Made in Niagara-on-the-Lake economic development plan, to attract the small prestige industries for our designated employment lands. I believe with the skills and the wisdom that I have gained through the private enterprise, along with the community leadership I have shown, I'm uniquely prepared to tackle the challenges for the future. Thank you. My name is John Weems. Thank you.
Okay. Candidate for council, Jordan Williams.
I have to thank the Chamber for having me last tonight, so at least you'll know where I am in the ballot. So, thanks so much. So who am I? I'm Jordan Williams. I'm running for town council. I'm a fourth-generation resident in Niagara-on-the-Lake. In Niagara region. Moved to Niagara-on-the-Lake 10 and a half years ago. My family, dating back to my great-grandfather, has strong business roots in this community, in this region, and as such, I know how powerful this region can be in an economic force. But let's talk about Niagara-on-the-Lake, because that's what we're all here for. So firstly, I really strongly believe that York Road should be utilized as an economic development zone. We have a real gem up there, and we have to utilize it. And we don't need a paid economic development officer to do that. I look around right now, and I see accomplished, dynamic citizens that are engaged in our community. And I'd gather that some of you have some real-life business sense. Saying that, I'm sure that you would be more than willing to help us be a strong force in an economic development of York Road, attracting small business and small industry up there for real middle-class, good-paying jobs to create a dynamic community in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Glendale residents, I hear you. We have to work with the region to really alleviate the traffic concerns that happen with the Outlet Mall area. It's an unknown fact that back there, it's backed up all the way to the highway. We need to work with the business and the residents association in that area to alleviate their concerns. And of course, the traffic in Old Town goes without saying. We have to work with the region to create real solutions for second and third options to bring people into this community. And we also have to get the buses off the streets and put them in a designated zone so we can alleviate traffic. Don't get too excited. The airport, you're getting there, don't worry. The airport is an economic development jewel, and we are blessed that the new tower is coming, and we must utilize this asset for our business community, not just in creating more tourists, but also being an advocate and getting economic home offices down here so we can have executives enjoy the perks of living in Niagara-on-the-Lake and creating a more well-paying middle-class to higher-end jobs. We want to work with all business districts from Virgil, Old Town, and so forth, and Glendale. I want to listen to you. We want council to listen to you. We want to know your needs. What's best for you? One of them is a buy local initiative and free parking for all residents, unlimited, in the Old Town area. I knew that would be a good one. One of the last things I want a noise bottler that works with the wineries, jordanwilliams.com. Thank you so much, and thanks for sitting through us.
Great. All right. So just as a quick note, right now at 8:15, we have a meet and greet with all the mayor, regional, council, and school trustee candidates which are here today. So we have, for the school trustees, Kate Baggett, John Netherway, David, if I say these names wrong, I apologize, David Israelson, Alex Bradnam, David Waddington, Roberto Contreras, Laura Campbell, and Tony Caruso, who are here for you to meet and greet after this. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us all. Just so you know, I want to thank all the candidates here tonight because I typically bring 2 agendas and 2 speeches because every once in a while you take one of them. But I have both of them here, so I thank you for not stressing me out too much in this process. I'd like to just say, on behalf of the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber, we would like to thank everyone from our lovely community that are here, both residential and business, along with all our candidates for joining us tonight. I would like to thank Janice Thompson, President of the Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce, and her wonderful team for doing such a great job. Absolutely. I sincerely hope you've learned or enjoyed this evening. Thank you all for your participation. Good luck, and good night to you all.